So 2019 was a pretty transformative year for me because I found myself doing things that I had never imagined doing. I got to go skiing in Utah. I wandered the streets of Boston and Chicago until I realized that I'm definitely not a city person. I got a tour of Frank Lloyd Wright's Falling Water, and I got to see Tyler Childers at Pickathon. But most importantly, if you told me a year ago that I would have a YouTube channel, I would have been like, no way, you're crazy, because it was never something that I had planned. Basically, back in January, I heard Randy Houser's Magnolia, and I was like, damn, this is real good. I want to talk to someone about it. Oh wait, I have no one to talk to about it, so I'm just gonna post a video on the internet. And then Grady commented and subscribed, and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I heard Charles Wesley Godwin's album, and I was like, damn, this is amazing. I want to talk about it. Post another video, and then he shared the video, and I was like, oh, everyone's so nice. So more videos were made, and here we are today. So in order to compile this list of my top 10 country songs in 2019, I had to set a few rules. So first, the song had to be somewhat in the country category. Of course, that is really hard to define these days. I honestly listen to a ton of folk and bluegrass that didn't make it onto this list. Also, I don't even know what Americana means, but apparently that was my top genre of 2019. Second is that the song had to have been released in 2019. So I fell in love with a lot of like older songs this year, but those aren't here on this list. And third, I didn't include songs that I've already talked about on this channel in the past. So, you know, some of my top songs this year were probably House Fire by Tyler Childers, Evangeline by Randy Houser, Seneca Creek by Charles Wesley Godwin, After the Fire by Cody Jinks, and Anything by Gabe Lee. But since I've already talked about those in other videos, you can go find them in the rest of the collection. Without further ado, here are my top 10 country songs of 2019. To be honest, although Nashville is probably still my favorite city and my favorite TV show, and I will watch every CMA ACM award show until the day I die, and I have gone to many a Jason Aldean, Kenny Chesney concerts, I've honestly fallen out of love with most of pop country. I'm just not really into like Dan and Shay or Sam Hunt. However, I was listening to the pop country radio on a rare occasion and heard this song, and it immediately grasped my attention, and I was like, what is this song? I want to just like keep on listening to it. And that song was Bathroom Floor by Maddie and Tay. I found this song to be ridiculously catchy. I also really like the concept of it. I've never heard a song about a bathroom floor before, so I think it's really unique, and I like the cyclical nature of the song where you start on the bathroom floor and you end up back on the bathroom floor, but you've gone through this whole transformation process. It's about picking yourself up both literally and metaphorically after a breakup. I find it kind of funny, but also really catchy and upbeat. Okay, so this song is called High Tonight by Carson Jeffrey, who is from Texas, and it's from his debut album, which is super exciting. The moment I heard the song, I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing, and I could not stop listening to it and could not get it out of my head. I think the fiddle sounds awesome, but my absolute favorite part is the chorus, just the way the certain words are stretched out. Get high tonight. I absolutely love that, and it's all about letting yourself go for just one night. There's this kind of internal moral struggle dilemma going on, and he's trying to like convince yourself that it's just for tonight. Tomorrow morning I'll be back to myself. I don't care what other people think. And I really like the line, give them something to talk about on the Monday morning news. This song by Ian No is so beautiful and gives me chills every time. It's a really interesting exploration of the struggles and hardships of life that everyone goes through. The narrator kind of meets these strangers and they tell their stories, and in verse 1 he's driving along a road in a storm and picks up a hitchhiking stranger and like, what's your story? And the guy says, I'll be a suit-wearing man with gold in my hand if today doesn't do me in. And then in verse 2, the narrator encounters a girl like picking up boxes too heavy for her at a store. And she says, oh, I'll be without a care when I finally get there. And I'll be a dress-wearing girl with the heels and the pearls if today doesn't do me in. I think it's about false hope, but also acknowledging that false hope might be all we have to get us through today. So Brantley Gilbert was like the guilty pleasure of my younger days. I didn't love his new album, but this song, which happens to be the title track, was one that really stood out to me. So what I like about this song is that Brantley Gilbert has this image of being this like super tough guy and super like masculine. This song is kind of the complete opposite. He's this tough guy who decides to be vulnerable and show his emotions. There's this kind of story where he wakes up hungover, reaches for some more alcohol, instead finds a Bible and is like, oh my gosh, I should go to church, and then he like slips into the back of the church. I think it's really powerful and passionate, and you can feel this like deep emotional transformation. I also really like the waltz time. Yeah, I like the vibe where it's just like, bring on the fire. The unhappy hour. So Dark Bars was my favorite song on Miranda Lambert's new album. I love the waltz time, and it is a sad drinking song, but it's kind of unique because she's not the one feeling the sadness, but she's more describing the universal sadness that is felt in this place, the place being Dark Bars. She says that she still feels most comfortable there, even though she's no longer in pain. My favorite song on Emily Scott Robinson's new album, Traveling Mercies, was called Westward Bound. It is a driving song about going on a road trip across America and leaving everything behind and trying to find yourself. One of my favorite activities in the whole world is driving with the windows down. The line, turns out I'm not a city girl, I miss the trees and sky and ground, is just so relatable. And it's this beautiful series of images of rural small town life. And I love the line, this is the America that the interstate left behind. I just love the feel of this song. Her voice is so angelic and gentle and soothing. Where there's smoke. So this song is called Where There's a Willie by Jack Ingram. Jack Ingram has been making music for a very long time. His first album was in '93. That was like before I was born. And this was kind of like his comeback album, I think. And the concept of the song is very simple. It's a reference to Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, and it's a play on words. Like how people say where there's a will, there's a way. Well, he's like, in Texas, we have this other saying where there's a Willie, there's a Waylon. The lyrics are quite basic. There isn't too much to analyze here, but to me, it's way more about the groove and the feel of the song. It has this old school country bluesy vibe with beautiful piano riffs. It has a very like casual, relaxed, participatory quality. It invites you to sing along. You feel like you're in the room with him, and there's like people laughing in the background. So it's a very chill song, and it's a whopping like 8 minutes long, and it's just so addicting. So Hayes Carll is also from Texas, and I listened to a lot of his music this year. I loved his new album. This was probably my favorite song on it. Although Nunya, which is also a great song, is probably the most like well-known song on it. And this song is a really beautiful series of impressionistic images, and it's another driving song where he's kind of driving through America and seeing all these scenes. It kind of feels like a dream because it's the American dream. You know, you got picking flowers to take to her mama, clothes hanging on a clothesline, and it's a very hopeful sounding song, yet there's this kind of cynical undertone where the American dream is something we fall down into, and there's this notion of like history repeats itself and we will all fall into this trap of the American dream, and there's this interesting ambiguity of like whether that's good or bad.
Well, I want to send a postcard.
So I fell in love with this song from the moment I heard it. It's from Zach Bryan's debut album, Deanne, and I love the whole album. It's very acoustic, and it's just him and his guitar, but his voice sounds incredible. It's very Tyler Childersy and has this like lonely, desperate, raspy quality to it, and his songwriting is amazing. This song gave me chills and made me cry. Something about it just clicked for me. It's this beautiful reflection on life and the journey of life and how no one really knows what's gonna happen next. I love the pun, I guess, of Godspeed. In this case, he's moving at Godspeed, so only God has control of the timeline of his life.
Well, I quit drinking yesterday.
Alright, so my number one top country song of 2019 was 25 and Wastin' Time by Vincent Neil Emerson. This was also off of his debut album, Fried Chicken and Evil Women, and it was the first song on there that I heard that I fell in love with. I just find the title incredibly relatable because I'm 25 and I waste a lot of time. I just love the vibe of the song. It's so groovy and has that classic honky-tonk feel to it. He's from Texas. I like the concept of the song too, where he's just like, this is my life. I've never been outside of the county line, and if I don't go, I'm gonna die here. So he sees this postcard on the fridge of an eagle flying over a mountain. He's like, I need to go and see what's out there in the world and go on this great adventure, and I'll see you later. It's very like rebellious and edgy and fun. Like me. Alright, that's it. These are my top 10 songs. Let me know if you guys liked or disliked any of these. I would like to thank all 160 of my subscribers for joining me on this journey in this past year. I'm excited for what 2020 will bring in terms of country music, and I hope you are too.